What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Married at First Sight, season 14, episode 7. We still getting caught up, but slowly but surely we getting there. The couples are moving into their apartments, right? And y'all know how we do it over here. We're gonna go couple by couple, okay? We're gonna start with the least problematic, and we're gonna work our way up. So this week it's Steve and Noi, right? For me, that is our least problematic couple. They get to the apartment, everything is nice, it's cute. You can definitely tell as they change geographical locations, you can definitely tell what housing looks like in different spaces. These apartments are small as hell compared to what we saw down to the Atlanta, compared to what we saw in Houston. These apartments are small. Like, one of the scenes, Chris had to turn sideways to walk into the kitchen, honey. And Chris is thick, but he ain't that thick, okay? Their balcony is like this big, okay? That's big enough for them to just say they got a balcony, okay? But neither here nor there. Everybody's excited and happy to see their apartments, and it's so cute, so cute. Now we know that part of this whole ritual is that they go to each other's apartment. So when Steve went with Noi to her apartment, it's cute and everything, but of course she's got her dog. The dog got like 20 doggy beds, and she made it clear that the dog sleeps with her and that the dog would be sleeping with them. And you could tell that Steve's attitude was like, say what? Say who? Like, you could tell that it was written all over his face that he was not cool with it. He didn't think it was a good idea. He wasn't here for it. Like, you could see it. It was right here, written all over his face. In the words of Mint Condition, it was written all over his face. You know, he also talked about picking up the poop. That's just not something he wants to do. Now, Steve, here's the thing. We all know that when it comes to having a pet, what goes in gotta come out. So it is what it is. But she said she was gonna take his dog bed, but he was still gonna sleep with them. And he was like, "Well, what's the purpose of having a doggy bed?" She was like, "So you have options." Okay, Noi. Now, on the flip side, when they went to Steve's apartment again, it is a bachelor pad. Okay, he got weights and gym equipment all over the place, and baby, he has LED lights running all through his house. And he was excited to show her these LED lights. He even showed her that they had different settings. He got his party mode, he got his Netflix and chill mode, he got his red light district mode, and he was excited. He was like, "So we're gonna take my lights down, or we're gonna just buy some new ones for the apartment?" Are you serious about these lights? Oh, okay. So Pastor Cal comes through to talk to them, and their biggest conversation was two things. One was about how many kids they wanted to have, and two was about his financial stability. Now, I have been trying to look at this from both sides of the coin, right? As far as Steve and his job is concerned. Because I am of the mindset that we have got to move out of the traditional view of what work looks like. I understand that it's different now that he's married, and Noi has a legitimate concern from two aspects. The first concern that's legit that she has is she grew up poor. She grew up in a refugee camp. She knows what it's like to literally not have a change of clothes. She said, they didn't have running water at one point, and it is a big, big issue for her. It's a big concern for her. She doesn't want to go back to that space of not knowing where her next meal is coming from. It probably gives her a level of anxiety, right? So from that aspect, she has a very, very, very valid point. The other aspect is, listen, it's time to grow up. Like, we're all adults now. We know what adulting looks like. There are bills. There are responsibilities. You need to save money. If y'all want to have kids, you need to make sure you can afford kids. Kids are not cheap, okay? Everything about a child is expensive. Everything. And so you're saying you want children, then these are the things we need to do if this is what we want, right? This is what we need to do. Now, from the Steve aspect, Steve's thing is, listen, I can get a job whenever I want a job. I do freelance work, and I can do this and I can do that. But here's where I feel like Pastor Kyle needs to push on them. Remember how last season, the firemen and I don't remember these people's name. Y'all know I didn't review last season. But remember how they showed each other their bank accounts? And, I mean, it didn't work out too well for them, but they knew what they had. I feel like if Steve and Noy were to sit down and really work out a budget and him show her, because he said he's got a savings account, like he's got money saved up, but again, that's relative. Like when I say I have money saved up may not be the same as what you feel like is a good thing to have saved up. So let's sit down, let's open up our bank accounts, let's look at what we have, let's do a budget, let's look at what our values are as far as money is concerned. What do you consider is a lot to save? How much do you save? Do you dip into, are you one of them people that dip into your savings, or do you put it away and don't touch it? I think they need to have some hard conversations about money, because clearly it's something that's on Noy's mind, right? Steve doesn't seem to be bothered by it. He seems to just be like, I mean, well, maybe, he seems to be real flippant about the whole money thing. Then we have the child thing. Noy wants 3 children. It doesn't matter. She ain't budging. That's it. That's all. Don't want no more. Don't want no less. It has to be 3. Steve's thing is, listen, I'm good with 2. Can 3 be an option? Can we go for the option on maybe? I honestly, on one hand, I understand that this is a conversation that we're taking seriously. On the other hand, I feel like it's not a conversation we need to take that seriously. Pastor Kyle said to Noy, have you thought about if you can't have any more children? Have you thought about if, I think the biggest thing was if you can't have children. And she was like, I never thought of that. Well, most people don't. Like, most people don't think about infertility and problems and those kinds of things. But I feel like those are the types of conversations that they will work out as they continue to go through this relationship. It is still very new. Like, I'm not saying they're not intimate, because I feel like they have been intimate, but it's still very early on, and we just may not be at a point where that's an issue right now. I don't know. But I feel like the conversation with Pastor Kyle was good. I don't know. Noy seemed like she is not, but just like he ain't budging about getting a job, she ain't budging about kids. Okay. So then we have Olajuwon and Katina. Now, they're not really that problematic either at this point. The biggest thing with them is Olajuwon and his 1950s view on marriage. This whole, when they first went to the apartment, he gonna tell her to stand by the stove, talking about something, let me envision this. We need to act it out. Sir, really? Y'all need to act out her cooking for you? That's what we need to act out? Is her cooking a meal for you? Are you serious right now? Like, stop playing with me. So we really didn't get to see her apartment. We saw them in her apartment, but I guess it wasn't nothing there that was that spectacular. So we just got like a little flash of her apartment. But when he went into his house, he had to be dramatic in normal Olajuwon style. Stop. Before we go in, I just want you to stop and take all this in. Can you picture this? The kids running out, us making this our home. And, Katina was like, yeah, okay, yeah. So they go into the house, and he's like, I'm nervous, I'm worried, is she gonna like my style? Is my house gonna be nice enough for her? And I get that, I understand that. They get inside, and he's asking her questions, and she's giving him honest answers, and then it's like he's getting offended. He had the curtains in the kitchen. She was like, I don't like these curtains. I would want to paint, he said with a paint, she wanted to paint the kitchen a gray, which I just painted my kitchen gray. I get it, girl. He said, well, my tabletops are brown. She said, well, we have to change the tabletops. He was like, you know how much that's going to cost? And she was like, what, $50,000? And she said it like it wasn't a big deal. First of all, it is not $50,000. You must be getting some imported marble from Italy or something. It is not $50,000. But it doesn't matter. You're going to change your tabletops because you want to paint the kitchen gray, girl. But I understood the point she was making. She was saying, we're going to live here. That's cool. But I want it to look like me as well. I want my influences to be a part of what it is that we're doing here. And that's valid. They went down to his basement. He's got a whole weight room out there. It's painted green. It's got a TV. And she was like, I probably would change the paint in here. I would too. It was green. And I'm sorry if people's favorite color is green. I don't mean to offend you, but it was green. Anyway, so then we had, we're back at the apartment. I'm sorry. We're back at the apartment, and when Pastor Kyle comes through, I feel like Pastor Kyle was ready to dig into Olajuwon, because Pastor Kyle was talking about how he saw them tapes and he didn't appreciate when they were on that horse, and he was like, I felt some kind of way about how you was talking to her. I felt like that was real disrespectful. And he asked Katina, do you feel disrespected? Do you feel like he's disrespectful to you? And of course Katina was like, well, yes and no. He said, don't be afraid to answer the question. You feel disrespected? Say it. Don't be afraid. I said, Pastor Kyle is waiting. All she got to do is give him the word, girl. All you got to do is hit him with a wink, wink. He is ready. He is ready to give Olajuwon the business. Do you hear me? The business. Okay? But she ain't do it. She ain't unleash. But she did say that, sometimes she feels like he can be, he can do a little bit much, and he can be a little disrespectful, and, his tone. And she said that she's talked to him about it. So then they bring up the whole cooking thing. And once again, Pastor Kyle was like, now that wasn't one of your non-negotiables. You didn't say nothing about needing a woman that wanted to cook. And he was like, well, that's important. No, she got to cook. That's important. He was like, why? Like, why are we having this Neanderthal mindset about what a wife does and what is her response? He said, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? He was like, well, I cook her breakfast every morning. I mean, that's what I do. So you gonna cook breakfast and you want her to cook dinner. It's not okay that you just have a meal. It's got to be that she cooked it. Boy, bye. My biggest fear for Katina is her voice. Like, I feel like her voice, she's not using her voice. It's not being heard. And she's not even trying anymore. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just really nervous about, I just feel like she's just going along with whatever he come up with. And that's not a good idea. But anyway, so that's them, child. All right. Jasmina and Michael. Okay. So we get to the apartment and, they're looking around the apartment. Oh, it's cute. Yeah. And Jasmina tells Michael that she's going to go and stay at her apartment for a couple of days because she has to get the dog situated. She got to find him a new doggy daycare, and all of that has to change, and she just needs some time to get herself together. Now, later on in the episode, she admits that she just needed to get away from Michael for a couple of days and reset herself. She's still holding on to the shit that went down in the honeymoon. She's still feeling some kind of way about how that kind of shook out and all of that, but she's trying to work through it. So they have a conversation about their apartments and their roommates, and she has a male roommate. Her best friend is also her roommate. He's a guy. And she said, have you ever lived with a woman before? Michael was like, oh no, never. Oh, nah. Now, I would give you the benefit of the doubt, Michael, and think that maybe you thought she was talking about in a romantic way. But she literally, and I know this might be editing, but she literally just got finished talking about her roommate who was her best friend, and there's nothing romantic there. So even if you thought she was talking about romantically, your answer should have been, well, not in a I've never lived with a girlfriend, but I have had female roommates. You know why, Michael, you should have said that? Because when they went to y'all's apartment, you literally have a female roommate that walked out of her room so that Jasmina would know she was there. And then we found out that you don't have not one, but two female roommates. And Jasmina was like, oh, I know you lying, because I know you told me no. Like, I distinctly remember asking you, and I distinctly remember your answer. How we go from 0 to 2? And you don't seem to feel like you did or said anything wrong. You talking about something, nah, I don't remember saying that. I don't remember How you don't remember this woman asked you a direct question? How you don't remember you said yes? I mean, you said no. Boy, bye. So now Jasmina is irritated all over again because she's like, you lied to me. And you lied to me about something so unnecessary because, one, I wasn't going to feel no kind of way because I legit live with a man. So I wasn't going to feel no kind of way about you living with a woman. And two, we married now. Like, it is what it is. Child. So when Pastor Kyle came, Jasmina was ready. Okay, she talked about how she don't like the way he talked to her. She don't like his tone. She said, you yell at me. And Michael was like, listen, I mean, if you want to say I'm condescending, sure. If you want to tell me I'm a little, forceful in my words, okay. But I don't yell at you. Don't say that. I don't yell at you. And aggressive. I don't know, because she said aggressive too. I don't know where this aggressive is coming from. I'm not aggressive. I don't know where that's coming from. Mike. So they got to arguing. I mean, they got to the point where they wouldn't even let Pastor Kyle get in. And he finally had to put his foot down and was like, okay, I'm going to need both y'all to be quiet and listen to me. And he told them they need to reset. He said, listen, are you willing to just let all of that go and start over? Jasmina was like, sure. Michael, are you willing to just, he said, the lies, we can't do that. We can't be just lying about stuff, just making up shit. But they said that they're willing to just, see if they can start up again, let all that be the past. They've learned something. They know they've adjusted and they move on, right? Lindsay and Mark. I need a drink. Lindsay and Mark, y'all. So they go to Mark's apartment in hazmat suits because he got the bed bugs. Okay, well, first thing they did when they got to the apartment, she emptied out their luggage and was washing his clothes, right? Because I guess she figured, I hope you, just in case something was in your luggage that you took, we're gonna wash all your shit, okay? So they're going through his apartment, and let me say this. I understand part of what was going on. Lindsay was going through his apartment like a wrecking ball. He was going through his apartment like everything has sentimental value, everything means something to him. Because it did. Because it was his stuff. The problem is, sir, you have an infestation of bed bugs. And a lot of that shit just didn't need to go. Like, he has a suitcase, literally a suitcase full of baseballs. He said that's every baseball that I ever, I guess, hit a home run with or something. She was like, and why do you have them? Like, sir, I could see if you play Major League Baseball. I'd even see if you play minor league baseball. I could see if you played on like a championship baseball team in college. Like, I get it. But you mean the rec center baseballs? You mean your high school baseballs when you play JV? You mean your community center baseball? Boy, if you don't donate them damn baseballs to the Goodwill and keep it moving, keep a few of them that really do mean something, and just a suitcase full of baseballs. Then he has a box of 90210 DVDs. Sir, Mark. And this is something I had to say to myself, because I literally just took a whole garbage bag full of DVDs to the Goodwill a couple of weeks ago, right? I had to ask myself a hard question. When is the last time your ass looked at a DVD? When is the last time you put a DVD inside of a DVD player, hit the play button, and watched a movie? If the answer is I don't remember, you don't need them. I promise you, you ain't looked at them damn 90210 VHS. First, it's streaming somewhere. Somewhere you can find 90210. Hulu, Netflix, something. Somebody got it. Amazon Prime, somebody got it. So, with that being said, Lindsay was like, okay, that's trash, this trash, that's trash. And Mark was feeling some kind of way. And I feel like that was the beginning of the disconnect. Well, not the beginning, because Lord knows there were some things. He still ain't, listen, Mark's still mad about that shit from the plane. He is still not over it. So Lindsay starts doing these confessionals where she said Mark is pulling away from her. She can see it. She can feel it. She said that, this whole situation with his mom and his landlord is really stressing him out. Now, I'm wondering why the landlord's still calling, because she done already evicted him. He done already went in there and cleaned out his damn apartment. I'm sure that he just had to, after they got done, after the way Lindsay was throwing shit away, I'm sure it was just a matter of waiting for, like, the trash people to come, or the bulk trash to come and get the rest of his stuff, because he couldn't have that much stuff left in that damn apartment the way they went through there. And so my thing is, what she still calling for? But when Pastor Kyle comes, basically Mark said a whole lot, but at the end, what basically Mark said was, you are doing a lot, you are doing the most, and I am trying my best, but the more you push, the more I walk, And I tried to have this conversation with you before, and you turned it into a whole blow up. You turned it into I never wanted to see you again, and it was either all in or all out. I tried to tell you I needed a little space, and that we needed to slow this down, or we need to put this shit in reverse. And you threw sex in his face, and you threw all this other stuff in his face. So what did he do? He stopped having sex with you because he was like, oh, so you think that because we have sex, that means that I can't say I need space and we need to slow it down. Okay, cool. Then we won't have sex. So when he stopped being affectionate and he stopped, giving it to you, now you complaining about that. But he tried to talk to you and tell you. Now, Pastor Kyle said, look, Lindsay, do you hear what he's saying? Lindsay was like, I don't hear nothing. None of it makes sense to me. I don't understand nothing he's saying. So Pastor Kyle was like, listen, let's just call a spade a spade. Girl, you a lie. And you know you a lot. And you said that you need a man that's going to keep you in line. You need a man that's going to put you in your place. But he needs to be a lot too. Well, we found him, okay? And Mark right now is putting you in your place. Mark right now is telling you that this is what he needs from you. And I need you to hear him. I need you to understand that this man is telling you that he needs you to chill out a little bit and give him time. And he's going to work his way. It's baby steps, okay? The Lindsay show is an all-night show, okay? It's an all-day, all-night show. He need a minute. He needs you to kick it back to a matinee, okay? Child, we gonna put a pin in that. So then, last but not least, we have Alyssa and Chris. Now, Chris done moved into the apartment because Chris said that was always my intention, to move into the apartment. Now, we saw Chris talking to his best friend. And basically, his best friend told him, look, if this was some chick you met on the street, and y'all went out on a couple of dates, and this is what you told me happened on date number 3 or 4, I would be giving you the side eye and telling you, leave that girl alone. Why are you dealing with her? So I ain't gonna say nothing different just because she your wife. Cut it. Cut it. We see Alyssa talking to her mom, and of course she's talking that same bullshit, coming up with all these excuses why they not compatible. Now, one of the things she brought up was, I went on his social media and we have different political views because he posted something about defund the police, and you know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about first responders. I mean, what is he going to do when he needs the police? And he told them that he wanted them to be defunded. Well, come to find out, the best friend that that Chris is talking to is a police officer. So if you would have talked to him and had a conversation with him, maybe he could explain to you what he means by defund the police. Maybe he could explain to you that his best friend is a police officer and they've had this conversation and his best friend is cool and understands where he's coming from. But when your mother said, well, did you talk to him about it? All you could say was no. Why? Because you are looking for a reason. You are looking for a reason. That's it. That's all. So she starts talking about, and Pastor Cal cuts her off, and when she starts trying to go through this long diatribe of how she tried and she did this and she did that and this is what happened and that's what happened. Pastor Cal was like, you cut him off before this thing got started good. You cut him off at the pass, ma'am. You cut him off before y'all got a chance to dig deep and swing low on this thing, okay? And the problem with the situation is now we are where we are and what we're going to do about it. So she tried to say that she was willing to try and fix it and figure it all out. Baby, Chris said he didn't even have this woman's phone number. He said, I can't even call her. He said, I keep hearing stuff through the grapevine. I heard that this is the reason why she's mad at me. I heard that this is what she doesn't like. I heard that this is what I said that offended her. But I can't even ask her if all this stuff is true. You know why I can't ask her if all this stuff is true? Because I don't even have her phone number. How you married to somebody that don't even have a phone number? What kind of shiggity is that? So with that being said, Pastor Kyle turned to Chris and was like, so Chris, how you feel about it? Chris said, let me tell you something. Yeah, this is like a little bit too little too late, and I don't believe her anyway. And he said, as far as I'm concerned, this is my decision day. Pastor Kyle was like, what? Oh, so you want a divorce? He said, yeah, I'm done. I want a divorce. Baby, Alyssa, them tears started flowing. And Chris said, listen, I feel like you here for a reason. I don't feel like you here for marriage. See, that's what I'm talking about. Here he is again insinuating that I'm not here for the right reasons. Well, what are you here for, ma'am? Anyway, that was the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.